The Master's Playground. Welcome to the Master's Playground. I am your host, Chrissy Stereo, and today we're going to be taking a look at nature and nature spirits. It is customary at the beginning of each episode for us to take a moment to tune in together. As you tune in to me and I to you, we grab each other's hands over the airwaves and come into prayer pose and tune in. So for those of you that are new to this practice, simply follow along. We chant in with the Adi mantra. We repeat it 3 times, and we do so by placing our hands into prayer position in front of our heart chakras. And from there, we chant Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale in and out. On the next breath, we'll begin. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Absolutely adore tuning in. It always shifts the frequency. For those of you that are new to Kundalini Yoga or any type of mantra, activity, action, whenever we do that, we are taking a moment to connect with our higher self, specifically to connect with the teacher within. It allows us to shift the frequency and bow to our infinite wisdom. So beautiful. So I'm back in the studio. Last week was a pre-recorded episode, and I was off meditating, doing some Kundalini Yoga action. And now I'm back. And tonight's episode, we're talking about nature and nature spirits. So what about them? Many people have some awareness of nature spirits. They're also known as elementals. Even though a lot of people may not really believe in them, you know, we're talking fairies, we're talking, you know, non-physical energies. The truth is, however, they are very real, and without them, our planet would not exist, or it would not even be here. So a little info, a little general overview. There are different types of nature spirits, just like humans. They come in a large variety of shapes, sizes, personalities, and temperaments. They include fairies, elves, dwarves, sprites, pixies. The list definitely goes on, and it definitely sounds like some retro book, doesn't it? Like we're going off into, what was that? The Never-Ending Story? Anywho, so beautiful. Elementals, nature spirits, are also great mimickers of humans and have a wide range of emotions. They easily take on the vibrations of their surroundings and the energy of humans. Because of this, everyone's experience with nature spirits will be different. So before we get into the whole who, what, when, let's go ahead and transition into our first song. And whenever I think of this realm, there's a specific band that comes to mind by the name of the Cocteau Twins. So I'm going to start off with one of my all-time favorite songs. And honestly, everything they do is my all-time favorite, but so be it. Cocteau Twins, Beatrix. Enjoy. I adore that band. Completely. The Cocteau Twins are such a gift. All right, so why is it that we can't see nature spirits on a sort of default level? Well, as we know, everything in the universe vibrates at a certain frequency, including material matter, light rays, radio waves, and even thoughts and emotions. As humans, we can only see a very limited band of frequencies that make up our color spectrum, whereas there are infinite vibrational frequencies outside of what we perceive. These elementals are simply vibrating at a higher frequency than what we can usually perceive. So humans, though, have developed their sight. Some humans have developed their sight so they can easily see them. Many children are also aware of them since they recently have come to the material world. And so they still vibrate with an inner sight that is at a higher frequency. One keynote to mention that children have this higher frequency reception, if you will, up until the age of 7. So there's a lot of information. If you ask a little child, a question or two, they'll be able to go ahead and give you a much more higher truth than when older. All right, I digressed. Okay, here we go. So, what are the different types of elementals? There are 4 major types. They tend to be the forces of nature that sustain the 4 elements of earth, gnomes, air, sylphs, fire, salamanders, and water, undines. The pronunciation's a little hard. All right, so when we look at one of the very first ones, the earth element, and gnomes specifically, the nature spirits called gnomes are the ones who tend and care for the earth at a physical level. There are billions of gnomes, and without them, the planet will not be habitable by humans. Amongst all the things that gnomes are responsible for, some of them include enriching the soil and the formation of all the minerals and elements found on Earth, processing the waste and byproducts of everyday existence, and purging the Earth of dangerous pollutants and poisons that are harmful to us, and the protection of and the maintaining the form of every plant, flower, and growing thing produced on Earth. Gnomes. On a spiritual level, the gnomes have equally important, if not even heavier, responsibilities, chores, if you will. They must clean up the energetic release that is imprinted on the earth due to man's discord and negativity. This includes the imprint from wars, murder, abuse, torture. The negative list can go on and on, as well as negative emotions of anger, hatred, discord, and again, the list can go on and on. All of these combine to form an enormous amount of negatively charged energy that weighs on the earth body and nature spirits. Gnomes vary in appearance, at least as reported by those who have developed this vision of being able to see them. Some are short and impish. Some appear as very small elves, and others are like 3-foot high dwarves. And then there's also giant size gnomes. I have to digress a little bit. This is kind of interesting because the more and more I get into this episode, the more I'm slipping off into what it would be like to really see this on a permanent level. And I'm like, wow, I feel like a little kid. Whoa, what's going on? Anywho, beautiful. So that's more of the earth element. We then have the air element. And this is sylphs. Let me spell this out because I might be mispronouncing it. Sylphs. As with gnomes, we could not survive without the aid of air elementals. They are responsible for tending to the air element, atmospheric conditions, and directing air flows. They are also responsible for aerating every cell with prana, which is the sacred breath of spirit, which nourishes all things. They're also responsible for purifying the atmosphere of pollutants such as car exhaust, toxic fumes, released from factories, things like that. The air element also corresponds to the mental plane, the mind. The air elementals also purify the mental level from negative energies and pollutants such as anger, resentment, greed, bigotry, and other poisons. Air elementals, sylphs, usually have thin, ethereal bodies that can transform into many shapes as they soar through the air. Their passage are often defined by the formation of clouds, and they're able to travel very quickly and over great distances. Now, I also want to interject right here before we go on that we are in the dawning of the age of Aquarius, okay? Aquarius is an air sign. And so what's happening on this realm, if you will, this elemental realm, is an increase of the self's activity. They're aiding us in the shifting to the Aquarian times. So dig that, man. All right. And then let's see what else. Yeah. So since we just spoke about the air elementals, I'm going to go ahead and transition to our next song that kind of captures the beauty of the wind. Enjoy.
Whispering
beautiful. You know, Moby lives here in Los Angeles, and once upon a time, I was kicking it at, where was I? What was that place? Some Mexican stage place. El Cid, yeah. He loves to go to, where everyone goes. It's kind of groovy, and he's one of the sweetest guys that you could ever meet. Yeah, he's always checking out what's happening, what's going on the underbelly of Los Angeles. Anywho, we've been talking about nature and nature spirits, and we're getting into it, man. We're exploring all these different elementals. They're also known as elementals, and so far we've covered earth elementals, which are, the stuff of storybooks, right? Fairies and pixies and all this really, playful, childlike presences. And it could even go into like gnomes and, that are huge and the whole thing. And then we've also talked about air elementals, sylphs, and how they're, they shift through wind and travel. And they're also aiding us with the shifting into the Aquarian age. Our next elemental is the fire element, which is also known as the salamanders. These nature spirits work with the fire element, and their job is crucial to our existence. They infuse the molecules of matter and all creation with the energies of the spirit necessary to sustain life on Earth. Without the spark of life, the salamanders sustain matter would decay, corrode, and disintegrate. Controlling the spiritual material oscillation of light within the nucleus of every atom. Wait, that's kind of heavy. I'm going to rinse and repeat that one, okay? They control the spiritual material oscillation of light within the nucleus of every atom. Wow, man. Wow. They're agents for transferring the fires of the subtle world for mankind's daily use. So that includes electricity, firelight. Okay, you feel me on this one. Cool. The salamanders are also responsible for absorbing and transmuting huge masses of negativity over large cities on Earth. Without them, crime and darkness would be much more rampant. These nature spirits are one of the biggest and more powerful of the elementals, okay? One of, because the list goes beyond what I'm covering in this episode, but I'm giving you some, nice juice here, some intro, if you will. They're tall, majestic beings appearing as pulsating rainbow fire. And the last one that we'll be covering is the water element, the undines. I'm going to spell this one out again because, again, I might be mispronouncing it. Undines. The water elementals are the nature spirits whose domain is over the water element, and they govern water and its energies wherever they are, large and small. The critical jobs they are responsible for include the purification of water everywhere, including our own bodies, toiling ceaselessly to cleanse the water of Earth poisoned by toxins, sewage, industrial waste, oil spills, chemical, and other substances. They control the tides, oxygenation, and they also control all of the fish and mineral life in the seas. So they also cleanse the aspect of mankind's life which relates to the water element, which is our emotions. They carry the weight of our emotional pollution, such as anger, fear, anxiety, all that fun self-torturing stuff we can play with. These elementals are beautiful mermaid-like beings, and they shift. They swift. Cancel that. They are swift and subtle in their movements and can change form quickly. So as you can see, there's quite, it's quite the magical realm. It's one that we're actually completely dependent upon. Nature spirits, that is. So that is the intro on 4 of the basic elementals. And what I want to do now is shift into, as you know, on the Master's Playground here, we play with a variety of tools of the divine, and we dive into concepts that, a lot of people are like, what is going on? What, So hopefully all of this information is talking to you on some level. Anyways, as I was saying, here on the Master's Playground, we play with a variety of tools, and one of the tools that I embrace is turning to a deck called the Ascended Master Deck. And every week, I like to ask, all right, Ascended Masters. Now, Ascended Masters are individuals who in their lifetime, self-realized. And these include Buddha, Jesus, Apollo. I mean, the list goes on and on. Lakshmi. The list goes on and on. So every week I like to go ahead and draw a card and say, hey, who wants to make their presence known? What is the message, that we could share with our audience? And for this week, we ended up drawing the card, Go Now. I'm going to show it to you. It's going to look a little weird because I'm pulling it up on my cell phone. But there it is. It's kind of beautiful, actually. I like that it's lit. Right on. Anyways, the meaning. Okay, so what is the message for us this week, right? What's happening? It is time for you to go either away from a toxic situation or towards something desirable. This card signals that it is the right time to make your move. The conditions are ripe and perfect, and the universe is poised to support your move. Now, when I start getting into the tarot card reading, you're going to see how incredibly magical this particular card is, because it highly reinforces what's happening, not only with the tarot cards that I have for the conclusion of the show, but also what's happening astrologically. We are in amazing times. I say it every week, and I'm going to say it every week until we shift, man. So what's happening is that we are being pulled to our wildest dreams. And in that experience, what's happening is that, some people are really going for it. Hi. Some people are really going for it, and having to do the work of getting out of their own way. And that's where meditation comes into play. That's where doing mudras and mantras and, and really connecting with your higher self is of great service to yourself, because you then align with the sense of purpose that brought you into this world. Oh, I love deepmoments.com. I really do. So anyways, so what's happening is this particular week, we are going to be, kind of going for it a little bit more than not. And we've been gearing up, and we just came out of some really thick, juicy cardinal cross energy. And the whole purpose of that, really tense energy. And the whole purpose of that was to highlight really deep issues that you may still have, blockages that you may still have, challenges. And really, it was like this pressure cooker that was helping navigate us into the realization of what it is that we want for ourselves, and begin to discard gently or walk away from certain things, right? But people are still kind of working on that. So that's where this card is kind of magical. Now is the time to leave anything that's toxic and go towards, what's desirable for you, what it is that you want in this world. Basically, you're being called to live the life that you want to live, and get over the fear, get over being scared, get over of false beliefs such as, well, I would do it if I didn't have to, and then you insert some sort of if, and, or but to that equation. So go now. Let me see. There are additional meanings. Okay, kind of bold additional meanings to this card. Quit your job. All right. So in no way am I advocating that everybody goes and quits their job, but it is highlighting that if it's not for you, man, if you're just not living the dream, if you're reporting to someone who is a lower frequency and you have pretty much resolved that that's not the frequency you want to vibrate anymore, quit your job. Leave a toxic relationship. Yeah. A lot of transition going on with that. Move to a new location. Start a new project without delay. Take a vacation. Basically, there's no more excuses. Just do it. Okay? So may the force be with you, Obi-Wans. Right. So you are listening to the Master's Playground. I am your host, Chrissy Stereo. You could find me here on skidrowstudios.com every Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you want to find out more about the trip that is Chrissy Stereo, take a moment and visit chrissystereo.com. There's so much going on, and there's so much more that's about to happen. Yeah, check it out. Sign up on the newsletter. There's a slew of services that I offer. Performance information. In fact, let me say this. Next week, I am performing at Long Beach Gay Pride on the dance stage. Yes, it's time to get tribally connected at Pride. All right. So before I go into the next segment of Nature Spirits, let's take another moment to embrace another song, shall we? Enjoy.
I feel
Did I mention that I love the Cocteau Twins? I think I've said that like maybe 5 times. If not, I'm going to say it 5 times. I love them. They're so amazing. They are so appropriate for like this airy, fairy, kind of floaty, otherworld dimension kind of backdrop music. Yeah, whenever I go into like painting and preparing for some type of art show, I put them on in the background and it works every time. All right, so we're coming to the very tail end of this particular episode. So we've talked about elementals, also known as nature spirits. So how do you connect with them? You know, how do you really like tune into that vibe, right? Well, this kind of dances a little bit with shamanism, which I'll talk about, specifically, shamanic energies in general and how to work with them in a separate episode. My being one of them, titles. There's so many titles in this world. Anyway, so, but basically, there's a few steps that you can go in and actually take, right? 1, go to a nature space that you feel attracted to. You can't put your finger on it. It could be a sacred space, whatever, you can't really put your finger on as to what it is, but we all have that intuition. So you're going to have to start with intuition and be aware of where you're being invited to. Like, if you feel a pull from a certain forest, a pull to a certain wooded area, trust it. There's sort of like this, that intuition always guides us, right? When you're there, you're not going to show up and go, all right, nature spirits, I'm here. Let's do this. Let's make it happen. No. You're going to want to keep going back over and over and over again to help establish that relationship of your presence being known. Okay? And once your presence is known, you in turn will start to feel that you're not alone. It sounds like you're going to take a trip, man. And it's true. It's true, but it's a groovy one. It's a really all natural trip, man. So intuition, go to a sacred wooded area that you feel gravitationally pulled towards. Okay. Rinse and repeat, and then just be aware. Now bring a book, chill out, just be one with the space. Okay. So in essence, what then happens is that you are then able to shift into the awareness and the presence of these elemental beings will also be able to resonate with the fact that you are in essence becoming their friend because you're always showing up. So that's really importante, okay? Then from there, the journey is very unique and special for each and every one of you. Now, of course, I mentioned that we can get into shamanic energies of where we are actually working with the elementals and a variety of other natural phenomenons, if you will. Phenomenons because they're not, an everyday thing for many, many of us out there. So that's the vibe. Let me see, what else? Is there anything else I want to share about meeting them? Yeah, there's certain places, the woods, don't go to, all right, if your intuition kind of feels sketchy, it's kind of like going to a haunted house, right? Don't do it, right? If the trees are kind of tripped out, that's because there was a certain darker energy that was there and part of the tree was responding to that negative energy and another part was still trying to maintain the higher frequency. So that's when you start seeing trees really tripped out, like, the Wicked Witch of the West or whatever. Getting tangled here. Anywho, so pay attention to your environment as a whole. So definitely pick somewhere that makes you feel uplifted and something that you're gravitated towards. And then, if you want to work with water spirits, for example, okay, Sit or stand on a rock in the middle of a stream. You will feel the presence by the movement of the water energies within you. And as you do, that's the water spirit saying hello. I love communicating like this. I'm digging it, man. I'm digging it. All right. And so there's a variety of other, sand spirits, like, go to the beach, really, allow yourself to connect with the sand, things of that nature. Fairies, very popular. So I'm going to go ahead and cover this one. They tend to sit in the center part of a medium to small tree space. So find a tree that's kind of, kind of perched up a little bit and removed, but not too far. Pixies. Let me see. I'm going through the list. There's so many different things, but basically it all comes down to go to the woods, go to the woods, go to the woods, go to the water for water, go to sand for, sand. And I'll talk about fire, the fire element. Now, I have experienced the fire element quite often, and I find that their presence is known when you are watching the fire, okay? They start to really appear. So, triponthat.com. All right, we're coming to the tail end of the episode. We briefly covered nature and nature spirits. Very small intro. The list is enormous, you guys. There are even larger structures of energetic realms, astral realms that we can cover, but this is a really solid intro for all of us. So, as I mentioned, we have a groovy week of really going after what it is that we are meant to be doing in this world. We are on this amazing ride. We are in a portal right now that started on March 1st. And it's going to be concluding, was it July? Late July. So in between March 1st and late July, we're in this kind of like what is going on kind of whirlwind energy. And it's all very purposeful because we are ascending. We are connecting to our divine sense of self, our divine sense of purpose, and so much more. And really, we're just gravitating towards living a happier, more fulfilled, intentional life. I mean, you came into this space, this time, this cut to right now moment for a reason. And now we're shifting so that you can allow yourself to embrace what that reason is all about. So I asked, I read Kabbalah Tarot, which is totally different than traditional, Tarot. More on that in another episode. And I said, okay, so what is the energy that we can anticipate for the coming week? And I ended up drawing the priestess. And there she is in all her glory. Such a beautiful card. If you're watching the video, I'm holding it up right now. So what's happening with the priestess? Well, it tends to mix a couple of different energies, which is the Fool and the Magus, also known as the Magician. Okay, both of them represent change, and the mixture is some of it is sudden and some of it is transformational. Okay, so we're mixing, a sudden we're going into sudden transformation. It's a very necessary change that serves for the greater good. God is protecting you. And some keynotes to mention regarding the priestess is that if it's in your best interest, whatever must be, must be. So that's the energy that's coming up. So it sounds a little peaceful, but it's also like we're going to be just highlighting this a little bit better. We're going to be, really kind of going for it. So there's going to be sudden inspiration, sudden sparks of transformation. You're going to feel very pulled at this point. It's sort of like you can't hold back anymore, and it's not like you will want to, I guess is what I'm trying to highlight. You're not going to want to hold back anymore. So I then asked, okay, what's an additional, card that could assist us with navigating, navigating the week. And it's really finishing up that, I ended up drawing the Princess of Swords. And it's really finishing up situations that no longer serve you. Okay? So that's kind of the party that's happening there. Beautiful card, by the way. And then I said, okay, can we have another? Master, can we have another? And we have the Queen of Discs. Okay, so with the Queen of Discs, it's to go ahead and bring things to a conclusion, situations that no longer serve you, but to do so without, anxiety and a satisfaction over what existed, being content with your decision-making abilities. Welcome to your week, party people. It's going to be amazing, 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 amazing. Yeah. This particular weekend, there's going to be a lot of relationship stuff that's going to be highlighted for a lot of us. And the relationships that we have with ourselves, with others, and also with love. So do not be surprised if you find yourself proclaiming, oh my gosh, I totally want to get into a relationship. Or, going, wow, I am so in love with this person. Or, wow, I'm so not in love with this person. There's going to be a lot of clarity that's going to be kicking in over the weekend. So my name is Chrissy Stereo, for those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, and this is the Master's Playground. And this show is all about playing with tools of the divine, tools being such as tarot cards, understanding astrology, understanding that we are the masters of our reality, and truly embracing that divine connection to source, so that you can navigate and master your life experience during these revolutionary times. You can find me at chrissystereo.com. And just another brief reminder, I do have a performance for those of you that are in the Southern California area. And I am performing at Long Beach Pride on May 18th. That's a Sunday. Yeah. And the lineup is fairly amazing, you guys. There are some seriously representing DJs stepping up onto that stage. And it's an honor. It's an honor to be one of them. You can find me at chrissystereo.com. And then also, I'm going to be making a lot of announcements this week. So do tune in. You know why? Because I'm going for it, you guys. All right. Going back to what it is that I've been talking about through this whole show. Now is the time. Now is the time. Now is the time. So I, wish for all of you to have the strength, courage, and conviction, but also the grace to embrace what it is that you want to do for yourselves. Go for your dreams. This is the year of 7, the year of work, the work of becoming our authentic selves. Allow yourself that experience. Allow yourself, give yourself the permission to dream and go after the dreams that you really want, that you know that you can manifest. And don't get in your way and say you can't. All right, I like to close out each episode with the Sunshine Song and a Satnam. May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Satnam. Blessings, everybody. I love you. Have a beautiful week. Take care. Bye. Love yourself. Love each other. We are one. We are the divine. Blessings. The Master's Playground.